Hi guys. So there's so much propaganda and pure BS on, for example, Twitter about the Ukraine war and the war of Russia invading Ukraine and all that shit. So I thought, let's see if we can spot the obvious bullshit. So I'm at search for Ukraine and seeing the top right this moment. This is blah blah blah, you cry, you cry, you cry, so appeal to emotion. Of course, that is the easiest way to convince someone that doesn't think logically. You appeal to emotion. You cry, okay. Well, I can respect that. What is this? We changed the flag in front of our Swiss company HQ. Well, another meaningless value thing. So they just jump on the bandwagon and project value. Look at us, we did a thing. Hashtag standing with Ukraine. Right. You did a hashtag and a flag. Congratulations, you should get the Nobel Peace Prize. What is the next here? Someone who doesn't understand. Well, that is human. Some Photoshop picture, child losing his parents, appeal to emotion. Yeah, civilians blocking the road for Russians. That is actual news. If it's verified, but it certainly does look so. I don't see any Russians in front here, but there are probably Russians in Ukraine. Russian prisoners of war captured by Ukrainians. Probably happens. These pictures, no way to know for sure if that is true, but that's probably happened. You see what I'm doing when I'm seeing these things? I don't take anything for granted. You have to use your critical thinking here. Prisoner of war burst into tears. Another appeal to emotion, propaganda thing. Then again, this could probably happen. It's conceivable. Some cartoons. Some important message, blah blah blah, probably bullshit. Not gonna watch the gore. Same video. Some Ukrainian fighters shit-talking Russians. That is most likely true. Thermobaric missiles are banned under Geneva Convention. Video thermobaric explosion. Is it though? So thermobaric explosions have a certain shockwave. It's very hard to know. The videos I've seen of confirmed thermobaric explosions are American ones, and as far as I know, those are a bit bigger than the ones usually used by Russians. They even have RPG grenades for rocket-propelled grenade launchers with thermobaric warheads. It's a big explosion, but it's not that big. But the biggest conventional bombs are thermobaric. It's like a step below tactical nukes. And if they're starting to use those, that would be a bad thing. But what is a bad thing is cluster munition, that it kills people indiscriminately. I've seen actual videos of them using that in built-up areas, neighborhoods, and actual civilians killed by it. So Russia is definitely using shit like that. Not sure if they actually target civilians. Probably not. Because of the videos you see where civilians start shit-talking Russian soldiers, they obviously are more lenient to civilians than the US was in Afghanistan. In the US, on the back of Humvees, they had a sign that said, "Stay back 100 meters or you will get shot." That shit isn't happening in Ukraine. But then again, Ukrainians don't do suicide bombs. Yet, I guess. We'll see how long that... Shit, there's so much gore. I'm gonna have to edit this and censor shit. Yeah, a bunch of shit. So, that's a big boom. But who knows if that's thermobaric? They don't claim that it is here. It's some kind of rocket attack. Ukraine. So pictures like these, where there's a bunch of blown up shit. So the claim for this picture is that it's a convoy of Russian stuff that's been blown up. Who can tell? It could be Ukrainian as well, because they have basically the same military hardware. So the way to know this is get the experts to check. Go to like Bellingcat or people they recommend, for example. They analyze these pictures and they have a bunch of aspy nerds who knows every single detail or every single infantry fighting vehicle or tank or whatever, all the little tiny details, so they can say that this burnt out tank is actually Russian or actually Ukrainian or whatever, if you really want to know. But never believe that just from a picture like this that they blew up a bunch of Russian tanks. Probably, but who knows. And there's a lot of pictures of burnt down areas like this. We can't tell if it's been done by Russians or Ukrainians. But we can probably say that it's Russians, because why would Ukrainians shell their own towns? I do not believe the war has gone so far down the drain that Ukrainians do false flag attacks on themselves and claim Russia did... Shit, so much gore. And claim Russians did it. They don't really have to. The Russians are invading their country. They already have the world opinion with them. So they don't have to do that. So it would be irrational for them to do that. Even Russians shoot so much, so even there's going to be stray missiles doing shit like this. But to be fair, this is a bit more than one stray missile, if I have to be frank. So this is Ukrainian army blowing shit up. Obviously, they destroy bridges to halt the advance of Russians. Perfectly doable. I have to say, there's not much obvious information that is meant to take the focus out of Ukraine in this feed. I've seen a lot of shit like they're claiming Ukrainians are racist and shit because they wouldn't let Africans cut in line in the refugee crisis that's come from this. I've seen a lot of videos of people that is not Ukrainians doing stupid shit with the refugees, and they're trying to turn that into Ukrainians being racist, and the people doing that is obviously Russian trolls, because the framing Russia has is they're gonna denazify Ukraine. It's that stupid. And so they try to affect public opinion like this. One thing I am a bit wary of is so there's obvious bullshit like Ghost of Kiev is obvious bullshit. A bunch of shit is obvious bullshit from the Ukraine side. But that is meant to raise morale. I'm not going to complain that much about that because it's such obvious bullshit. But all of these stupid things, like some Ukrainian model holding an airsoft rifle, claiming to join the fight or whatever, using some old picture, or someone just using an old picture to say something, or an old movie or whatever. There's so much obvious bullshit, and a bunch of pundits on the right in the US and everywhere says that, oh, because this and that is obvious bullshit, then everything is obvious bullshit. Don't trust the media. Yeah, don't trust the media, and it is obvious bullshit. But what isn't obvious bullshit is that Russia is invading, and there is a bunch of stuff on the line here. So those short-sighted people on the right in the US, for example, calling bullshit on a bunch of things, yeah, of course it's bullshit, but the things online here is, for example, Russia is in an alliance with China since last year, a deep alliance where they have promised to stand as one on the international arena, and they cooperate very tightly. They're trying to make a new world order in their image, and I kind of don't want two dictatorships doing that. And Ukraine has a bunch of natural resources that people don't really know about. For example, neon. Most of the world's market of neon comes from Ukraine, and that is a very important product for making semiconductors. They're trying to corner the market in some areas. Ukraine has a lot of natural resources, and it's not just the breadbasket of Europe. And there might be a food shortage crisis all over the world soon. If you didn't know it, China is stockpiling wheat, and they have a problem feeding all the Chinese people. And Russia has promised to send a lot of food their way, and they kind of want Ukraine for that as well, I guess. And then there is the imperialist tendencies of Putin, where he actually believes his own bullshit propaganda. Yeah, there's a lot of stupid shit on the line here. That can run the world into a third world war. It is not just Russia invading Ukraine. It's China and Taiwan. It's the rest of the Eastern Bloc. It's Georgia. It's a bunch of shit going down. We'll see where this ends. Hopefully this will peter out, but probably not. What can happen is that, for example, Russia hasn't acknowledged this as a war internally in Russia. They say it's some kind of police action to denazify Ukraine or shit like that. If they recognize they're in a real war, the nation of Russia is in a war, they will probably enact martial law in Russia. A bunch of new laws will come into effect where they will call anyone complaining about it a traitor. They might enact a death penalty again, put people in camps. They might lock down Russia into a total war political situation where all production goes to war. And it will turn it into like a Germany under the Second World War kind of deal. And then we're all pretty much fucked. And we'll see if that happens. Yeah. Life will win over death and light will win over darkness. Glory be to Ukraine. Yeah, nice words. I have to give it to this guy, Volodymyr Zelensky. He is a master at manipulating the perception of this crisis. If it wasn't for him and his staff handling the media and getting all the Ukrainians to basically as one go together and say to Russia, no one would have cared. No one would have cared. It would have been another whatever, Georgia or whatever. He did it perfectly. If it wasn't for him, no one would have given a shit, and Russia would have taken Ukraine. I'm fairly certain of that. So yeah, he basically almost single-handedly saved his country. Well, not yet, I guess. We'll see how this ends. But at least he got the world with him. So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff. What's this? Bunch of stupid memes. People caught a looter. That's probably just some prank from a long time ago, or perhaps not. Shit. Yeah, making Molotov cocktails is a family fun affair. Bring your kids. Laughing babushkas. That is actually awesome. Imagine that happening in your country. All the neighbors gather up with all the empty bottles, making Molotov cocktails. Shit. What? Yeah. I've seen a bunch of shit about Palestinians complaining about, well, what about us? And a bunch of people from the Middle East saying, well, the US did a bunch of stupid shit, and you didn't complain this much about that. Yeah, that's true. That is true. But don't try to make it about you. It isn't about you. This is in our area of the woods in Europe. Of course, we're gonna care more about that than whatever shit is going down in the Middle East. That is human nature. It's not fair, but that's the way it is. What is this? Is this some furry bullshit? I don't want to know. Here we go. Belarus troops to border Ukraine. Yeah, they have a really funny flag, Belarus. Is there anything? Another reference. Yeah, this just keeps going on. Yeah, here's... And this is obvious attempt to manipulate. 1-year-old photos, publicity stunt. Who cares if it is? He has stayed in Kiev and he's done his shit. He's done a lot of good work for his country. And this I stand with Russia guy. Let's just go to this. Can I see March 2020? So this person joined basically today and has 2 followers. This is obviously a Russian bot doing I stand with Russia. So this is the weak weak little campaign Russia has when they try to sow disinformation. Yeah. One thing I don't like either is all these fucking politicians in the US, in Sweden, both left and right, just taking this war and running with it, trying to throw shit on their political opponents. It's just polarizing the politics of our country when we really should stand together in the face of World War III, because it's not impossible to happen. It is basically the worst case scenario, and I don't believe it is a high chance of happening, but it could happen. It could happen. It's up there. It's a non-zero chance. It's actually a bit more than 0. And we need to stand together, get prepared. Everyone needs to get prepared. You can't start getting prepared when the Russians stand at the door, or the Chinese, or whomever. It's too late then. We need to get ready now, obviously. And throwing shit, keep moaning about Trump. Who cares about Trump? He's not the president, and he's deplatformed from everywhere. No one has heard from him that goes to the regular social medias. But people keep babbling about Trump anyway. Who gives a shit? Take that discussion whenever he tries to go for office again, I guess. So this is another page I like to read, Ukraine Weapons Tracker. They actually try to track the weapons used. So Ukrainian forces managed to capture this tank. It's pretty obsolete. And they go through basically all the videos about where you can see tanks and shit, and talk about them a bit. So this was abandoned by the Ukrainian forces. So they do bring up Ukrainian stuff as well. So it was captured by the LNR separatists. I guess that is Donbass separatists, painted a Z on it and tried to use that when they captured it from the Ukrainians. It's shit like that you won't know unless you read this. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. So I suggest following this and like Bellingcat and stuff like that with actual pros verifying shit, and don't just watch the feeds because it's filled with shit. You'll get shit all over your eyes if you watch that. It's so much bullshit, and I wouldn't even trust regular media, of course, obviously. At least Swedish media has been utter shit on this. If you want to have a proper picture of this crisis, you're not gonna get it, no matter where you look. But yeah, as they say, truth is the first thing that dies in war. So we'll see. I guess we can be certain of one thing, of who the bad guy is in this war, and it is Russia. If in doubt, the totalitarian asshole is the bad guy. And there's levels of this. For example, go to any conflict in your country or whatever, political, doesn't matter what the question is about. The one who's most leaning towards totalitarianism, he's the guy that's wrong. According to me, at least. Right, this video is getting long. I'm gonna shut it off now. You guys have a good day. See ya.